You can tell almost everything about a man's true feelings for you in the first 10 seconds of how he greets you. It's not the words, it's the energy, the effort, and the emotion behind it. If he greets you in a way that lights up the room, it's because he's already lit up inside about you. And today, I'm going to show you the 6 powerful signs hidden inside his greeting that reveal he's not just interested, he's absolutely crazy about you. You ever notice how the eyes tell on us before anything else does? Before the words, before the gestures, before the smile even shows up, the eyes already gave the truth away. When a man is truly crazy about you, when he's thinking about you long before you even walk into the room, the very first place he goes when you show up is your eyes. He locks in. And it's not an accident. It's not one of those random glances. It's that immediate, almost instinctive connection that says, out of everything else happening here, I see you. And now think about this, you. We all make eye contact with people every single day. You walk down the street, you glance at strangers. You check in with a friend, you make eye contact. But when it's someone who has feelings that run deeper, someone who's emotionally invested, there's a difference in how it feels. That difference is what you want to pay attention to, because it's not just a look, it's a pause, it's a held moment. It's a silent way of saying, you're the reason I just lit up inside. And let me tell you, you don't have to guess when it happens. You feel it. You know that moment when you walk in and his eyes find you immediately. It's like the whole room disappears for him. Even if there are 10 other conversations going on, even if people are moving around laughing, talking, he doesn't scan the room. He doesn't take a second. He goes right to you. That is not by accident. That is priority. Now, why does this matter? Because how someone greets you is a reflection of where you stand in their heart. A man who is lukewarm, who isn't invested, he might greet you, sure, but his eyes wander, his attention scatters. It's polite, it's friendly, but it doesn't carry weight. A man who is truly crazy about you, his eyes tell you before his mouth even opens. They're focused, they're steady, and they hold on just a little longer than normal. And that little longer. That's where the truth is. Some of you may be wondering, well, what if he's just naturally a good eye contact person? Fair point. But you'll notice a difference in the quality of the look. With everyone else, it's quick, it's transactional. With you, it's like he's searching. Like he's pulling in details to keep with him later. Because the greeting isn't just about this moment. It's about carrying you with him after the moment ends. And here's the deeper truth. That kind of eye contact, it's not rehearsed. It's not a tactic. You can't fake that level of attention. When he's crazy about you, his eyes betray him. They soften. They brighten. They tell you everything he may not even be ready to say out loud. You'll notice it in the way his brows lift, in the slight delay before he looks away, in how his smile tends to follow right after it. His eyes start the conversation long before his words catch up. So if you've ever doubted whether his greeting is just routine or whether it actually carries meaning, pay attention to this first signal. The eyes don't lie. They are windows, yes, but they are also spotlights. And when his spotlight lands on you the second you enter, you've already got your answer. Because here's the truth. A man who's crazy about you doesn't greet you with hesitation. He greets you with recognition. The next thing I want you to notice is the smile. And I'm not talking about just any smile. I'm talking about the kind of smile that shows up before the words ever get there. You know the one. The kind of smile that almost sneaks up on him, like he couldn't even stop it if he wanted to. That's the smile of a man who's genuinely excited to see you. That's not manners. That's not routine. That's emotion leaking out faster than he can control it. See, most people smile as a reaction. Somebody cracks a joke, we smile. Somebody greets us politely, we return the smile. It's learned, it's expected. But when he's crazy about you, it's different. His smile doesn't wait for a reason. You are the reason. You walked in, you caught his eye, and before he can even put a thought together, there it is. That involuntary lift in his face, that spark in his expression, that warmth he can't hold back. And here's what makes it powerful. You don't even have to be doing anything. You don't have to be dressed up. You don't have to be performing. You don't have to be anyone but yourself. The smile shows up because you showed up. And that's how you know it's real. It's effortless. It's instinctive. He didn't have to think about it. His body told on him. Think about the times you've really cared about someone, how your own smile comes out the second they walk in. It's almost embarrassing sometimes because you catch yourself grinning without even realizing it. That's how you know it's genuine. That's how you know it's not practiced. A man who's crazy about you, he's not waiting until he shakes your hand, or until he hugs you, or until he says hello. His smile gets there first. His emotions outrun his timing. And listen, this is where people mess up. They assume all smiles are the same. They're not. A polite smile is quick, shallow, it disappears almost as fast as it came. A genuine smile, the kind you're looking for, lingers. It pulls his whole face into it. His cheeks, his eyes, even his posture shifts. It's like his whole body joins in on the greeting. That's how you know he's not just happy you're there, he's happier because you're there. Here's another thing, pay attention to how his smile compares when he greets other people. That's the giveaway. Because sure, he may be friendly, he may smile at everyone. But the one he gives you, it'll be fuller, it'll be warmer, it'll last longer. And the difference may seem subtle to others, but you'll feel it. Because a smile like that has weight. It has direction. It's aimed. And when it's aimed at you, you don't have to question what it means. What makes this even more important is that the smile communicates something words can't. Words can be faked. Words can be rehearsed, but a smile that arrives before the thought does, that's heart, not habit. That's his inner world breaking through the surface. And when you catch it, when you recognize that his first instinct is to light up at the sight of you, you've uncovered one of the purest signals of how he really feels. So the next time you're wondering where you stand, don't just listen to what he says. Watch for what happens in those first 2 seconds. Does his smile beat his words to the finish line? Because if it does, then you're not just someone he knows, you're someone he can't help but be glad to see. Because a man who's crazy about you doesn't just greet you with a smile. He greets you with the kind of smile that says you're already his favorite part of the day. One of the easiest ways to read a man is not through his words, but through his body. Because the body doesn't lie. You can rehearse what you're going to say. You can think about how to phrase things. But the way your body moves is instinctive. And when a man greets you, pay close attention to which direction his body leans. That one small movement tells you everything about his interest, his comfort, and his level of attraction. If he's leaning in, even slightly, that's his subconscious telling on him. That's his body saying, I want to be closer to you. He's drawn in, pulled toward you, like there's a magnet working underneath the surface. It might be subtle. Maybe his shoulder angles toward you. Maybe his torso shifts. Maybe he steps half a foot closer without even realizing it. But make no mistake, that leaning in is one of the strongest nonverbal signals he can send. Now, contrast that with a man who keeps his distance. His feet point away, his body angles outward, he leans back. That's not someone who's crazy about you. That's someone who's neutral, polite, maybe even hesitant. And you know the difference. Because when a man's interest is genuine, his body betrays him. He forgets about personal space. He forgets about being casual. He can't help but want to close the gap. And this doesn't mean he has to physically touch you. Sometimes it's not even about contact. It's about direction. Which way does he tilt when you show up? If his body is oriented toward you, if his energy is leaning, and even when his words are still catching up, you've already got your answer. That lean is a silent admission of attraction. Think about it. When we're around people we don't want to be with, our bodies naturally try to exit. We cross our arms, we turn our shoulders, we create space. But when we're around someone we're excited about, everything opens up. We face them directly, we tilt forward, we lean in because our body is just as eager to be in that moment as our heart is. And what makes this powerful is that it's unconscious. He's not thinking, okay, I need to lean forward to show her I like her. No, he's too caught up in the excitement of seeing you to think about it. His body simply moves in the direction of where he wants to be. And that's the difference between polite interest and genuine attraction. One is controlled, the other is instinctive. Now here's the part you don't want to miss. When a man leans in during a greeting, he's not just trying to be closer physically. He's showing emotional closeness too. That lean says, I feel safe with you, I feel drawn to you, and I want to be near you. It's an unspoken way of collapsing the distance between his world and yours. So the next time you're greeted, don't just listen to his hello. Watch what his body does. Does he pull back, keep space, stand neutral? Or does he tilt forward, close the gap, angle himself toward you like you're the center of his gravity? Because a man who's crazy about you won't just greet you with words. He'll greet you with his whole body leaning in, as if being closer to you is the most natural thing in the world. There's something else that's easy to overlook, but incredibly powerful when it comes to how a man greets you, and that's his tone. Words are one thing, but the way they're carried, the sound, the rhythm, the energy in his voice, that's where the truth hides. A man who's crazy about you will reveal it in how he speaks to you, and most of the time he doesn't even realize he's doing it. Think about it. We all adjust our tone without realizing it depending on who we're talking to. The voice we use when ordering coffee isn't the same as the one we use when talking to a close friend. The tone you use with your boss isn't the same one you use with someone you love. It shifts naturally because tone carries emotion, it carries presence. And when he greets you, if his tone softens, if it warms up, if it lifts with excitement in a way it doesn't with anyone else, that's the giveaway. That's where you hear his affection. You've probably seen this before. He could be in the middle of talking to a group of people, voice steady, casual, nothing out of the ordinary. But the second he turns to you, there's a change. His words get brighter, his delivery shifts, and suddenly it feels like he's speaking in a way that belongs only to you. That's not coincidence. That's not habit. That's emotion breaking through. And it's not always about volume. Sometimes it's the opposite. Sometimes his voice drops slower, calmer, because being around you pulls something out of him that no one else gets. That's how you know it's not just performance. He's not trying to impress. He's connecting. His tone is carrying a different kind of energy because you mean something different to him. Here's the key: when someone truly cares, their voice becomes a reflection of what they feel inside. He may not say, "I've been waiting to see you all day," but his tone says it. He may not say, "You're the best part of my evening," but his voice carries it. That shift is subtle to the outside world, but you'll notice it because it feels different. It feels intentional even when it's not. And listen, this is where you have to trust your gut. You don't need a script to figure it out. You don't need a checklist of words. You'll feel the difference in how he greets you. It'll sound warmer, lighter, more alive. His voice will tell on him before his mind catches up. The truth is, tone is hard to fake for long. A man can control his words. He can choose what to say. But the way his voice shifts when you're in front of him, that's instinctive. That's unfiltered. And if he's crazy about you, his tone will give him away every single time. So pay attention not just to what he says when he greets you, but how he says it. Because in that hello, in that first sound, you'll hear something that wasn't there a moment ago. Something that belongs only to you. Because a man who's crazy about you doesn't just change his words. He changes his voice the moment you walk into the room. There's another signal you can't afford to miss. And it's not in his eyes, not in his smile, not even in his tone. It's in the energy of his entire greeting. When a man is truly crazy about you, He doesn't greet you like you're just another person walking into the room. He greets you like you're the highlight of his day. And that difference is everything. Think about the times you've seen someone light up when something they love happens. Maybe it's a kid seeing their favorite toy. Maybe it's a friend hearing good news. You can feel that spark instantly. It's undeniable. Now, when a man feels that way about you, his greeting carries that same spark. It's not forced. It's not calculated. It's this surge of excitement that makes the whole moment feel bigger, brighter, more alive. And here's what makes it stand out. He can be in the middle of 100 different things. Busy with work, distracted by people, caught up in a conversation. But the moment you show up, it's like all of that fades. The greeting he gives you has more energy, more joy, more presence than what he gives anyone else. That's the marker of significance. That's how you know you're not just part of his day, you're the best part of it. Now, it's easy to dismiss this if you're not paying attention. You might think, oh, he's just being friendly. But friendliness doesn't carry weight. Politeness doesn't light up a room. You know the difference when you see it because you feel it. His whole energy shifts. His voice lifts, his face brightens, his body comes alive in a way that doesn't happen with anyone else. That's not friendliness. That's affection breaking through. Here's the other thing. When someone greets you like you're the highlight of their day, it's not just about excitement. It's about priority. It shows you where you stand. Because people don't give that kind of energy to just anyone. We reserve it for the ones who matter most. And when a man consistently greets you with that extra spark, he's sending you a very clear message without even saying it. You matter to me more than you realize. What's beautiful about this is how effortless it is for him. He's not thinking, okay, let me make sure I act excited so she knows I care. No, he doesn't even have time to think. It just bursts out. That smile, that energy, that shift in his presence happens the second you arrive. That's the power of genuine emotion. It shows up before logic has a chance to control it. And let's be real, we all know what it feels like when someone greets us without that energy. It feels flat. It feels like routine. It feels like you could have been anyone walking in. That's why this difference matters so much. Because when he greets you with joy, when he greets you like you just made his entire day better, it leaves no question where his heart is. So if you're wondering how to read him, pay attention to the tone of his greeting. Not just the words, but the energy behind them. Does it feel heavier, dull, like he's simply acknowledging your presence? Or does it feel like you just shifted the atmosphere by walking in? Because a man who's crazy about you doesn't greet you like a task on his list. He greets you like you are the best moment he's been waiting for all day. There's one last piece of this puzzle that might seem small at first, but it's actually one of the biggest indicators of all. It's the linger. The way he holds onto the moment, even when the hello is technically over, and this is where you really see how much he feels, because people who are just being polite, they move on quickly. They say their hello, they nod, they shift away. But a man who's crazy about you, he doesn't want that moment to end so fast. Watch for the little ways he stretches it out. Maybe he holds your hand just a second longer than necessary. Maybe his hug isn't rushed, but stays for that extra beat that says more than words could. Maybe it's in his eyes. He doesn't break contact right away because he's soaking up the sight of you. Or maybe he doesn't even realize he's doing it, but his body stays near you after the greeting like he's not ready to step back into the rest of the world yet. That linger is not an accident. That's not a habit. That's desire refusing to let go of the moment. He knows you've already greeted each other. He knows technically it's over, but something in him wants to hold onto that connection just a little longer. And that's how you know you're not just another person in the room. You're the one he wants to keep close. Think about it. When we're around people we don't care much about, we breeze through greetings. A handshake, a quick nod, a short smile, and it's done. But when someone matters to us, we savor it. We slow down, we look a little longer, we hold a little longer, we stay a little longer. That's human nature. That's what emotion does. It makes us want to extend time. And here's the beautiful part, that linger is often unconscious. He's not calculating it, he's not thinking, let me hold her hand for exactly 2 more seconds so she knows I like her. No, his feelings are driving him, not strategy. His heart is in control, and the result is that he naturally doesn't want to pull away from you. That's why it's so powerful, because it's unfiltered truth. Now, I want you to imagine this. You walk into a room, and someone greets you quickly, politely, then moves on. Sure, they were nice, but you don't feel anything special from it. Now imagine another person greets you, and after the words are done, their energy stays with you. Their eyes linger, their hand lingers, their body stays close. You feel the difference, don't you? One was polite. The other was personal. And that's the difference between being noticed and being valued. So, if you're trying to figure out how much you mean to him, don't just look at how he starts the greeting. Look at how he ends it. Does he rush it, or does he extend it? Does he move on quickly, or does he let the moment breathe a little longer than necessary? Because those few extra seconds speak volumes. And here's the truth. A man who's crazy about you doesn't just greet you. He holds on to you, even in the smallest ways, because in that moment nothing feels better to him than being close to you.